What's up, Vikings? This is Kaiser Steak, and today I really wanted to do a video on a video that Josh Strife Hayes did about the worst MMO ever, School of Dragons, and he rates different MMOs and then tells like what he thinks about them. And he did this one on School of Dragons. It's been like 2 years, and I just recently watched it for like the second time, and I felt like I really wanted to do another video explaining like what he did, and then like maybe something that he described incorrectly. And I could bring a little bit more clarity to it because I've been someone who's played the game for a lot longer than Josh has. So I have subscribed and liked to his video. Definitely do that. I would go over and check his channel. He has pretty good videos. But I just really wanted to quickly do this video and show you guys a little bit more insights into this. Also, I have a pretty fun outro. So if you kind of get bored through the video and you just want to skip to the end, that's fine as well. All right, let's begin.
How to Train Your Dragon was a brilliant film with a compelling storyline, relatable characters, and beautiful animation. It entertained kids and adults alike and went on to become one of the highest rated movies of all time. It is fantastic in every way, and the School of Dragons MMO is none of these things. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Strife Hayes. I've spent years playing the best MMO games available. Now it's time to do the opposite and find the worst of the worst. I'm going to play them all so you don't have to. Join me on a journey through the most awful MMOs I can find. Drop a like on the vid and sub to the channel for more awful MMOs, and ring the bell so you don't miss a single video. If you're enjoying the series, please consider supporting through the Patreon, link below. Today we are playing...
The only reason I'm including all of that is because it's his video, so I think I should give him the credit.
School of Dragons, an MMO based on the awesome film franchise How to Train Your Dragon. It's free, it's on Steam, and it's 139 megabytes, so let's give it a... hang on, no, go back. It's how big? 139 megabytes. Megabytes. The 45-second video clip of my Steam overlay is 300 megabytes. There's more data in 45 seconds of 1080 footage than in this entire game. Wow. Well, I suppose small games can be good too, so let's not give up hope just...
So what he just said was entirely wrong. First of all, he only mentions it's on Steam, but it's also on mobile, and it's just available for download off the School of Dragons website. So we have to keep that in mind, that it's on many different platforms. In addition, it is several gigabytes, and the reason he, I don't know why, I guess maybe, I'm not exactly sure how Steam works, to be honest. But if you get the download version from the website, it's several gigs. I believe it's somewhere around 6 or 7, and that's because it stores a lot of its like packages, assets, lands, dragons, characters, etc. on your computer in just like a different folder. And so in total, it's like several gigabytes, which is pretty normal actually. And of course, School of Dragons as a game is probably less of a size than would a normal other game be, like a really big popular one. But I mean, it's huge. Like, it's a huge game. It's certainly not just a few megabytes. That's just for Steam. That's not the size of the game. So that's absolutely wrong.
Yet. As mentioned earlier, School of Dragons takes place in the How to Train Your Dragon world. You'll meet familiar characters and visit familiar locations. If you've seen the films, which I highly recommend because they're great, you'll notice a lot of nice references. However, if you're playing this game without that background or nostalgia, then you'll likely be able to see the game for what it truly is. The loading screen lets us know it's been 7 years since the game arrived, and I looked this up and it's been 10 years since the first film happened, and God, I feel old. First thing you notice, they've not matched...
I really wanted to quickly say, he mentioned something about if you haven't seen the videos, you'll see the game for what it is. I know of several people that play the game and have never watched the films, and they love the game. And that's, I'm not sure why that necessarily is. I can see why the game is fun, but I think he was trying to point out that if you haven't watched the films, there's no point in playing the game. And I originally thought that as well, but I've met several people on School of Dragons who've never watched the films, and they still absolutely love the game. So that's not even true.
Match the in-game cursor speed to your machine's cursor speed, so it's moving way slower than I'm actually moving the mouse. This seems like a common trait of games aimed at children. They don't bother matching your actual mouse.
That is sort of true, but if you speed up your mouse on your computer, it'll speed up the mouse on here, so that shouldn't be an issue. I haven't seen any noticeable issues.
Quick note about children's games. I've worked with children for most of my life, and children aren't stupid. They're not dumb. Kids are very discerning and actually able to tell quality from crap. Saying something is a kid's game and expecting that to excuse bad game design choices isn't allowed. If anything, games aimed at a younger audience need to try even harder to reach a higher standard because you've got years of game design advancement to borrow from. It seems to be using music from the film at least, so I look forward to that copyright strike. Fill in the forms, sign up, and off we go. Character creation is simple but sufficient. You've got enough to customize to make you look somewhat unique, but without the needless precision of 10 million nose angles. Make your tune, name your Viking, and off you go. The controls are, oh no, WASD movement, but A and D aren't strafe left and strafe right, they are turn left and turn right. Spacebar is jump, but there's also a huge jump button to the bottom right, which makes this look suspiciously like a mobile game. I mean,
That's because it is a mobile game on that's one of the platforms.
It's fine, we can deal with that. I'll just pop into the menu and change the keybinds, except, oh no, wait, you can't. This is how the game is set up. You must.
That is a bit annoying. Not gonna lie, that you can't change the key bindings.
Play it like this. You can, however, choose to turn MMO mode off and play it single player. I guess that would appeal to anyone who doesn't have any other games. Let's crank the graphics up to max. I'm not expecting much from 138 megabytes, but I like to be consistent in these videos. I really hate how there's no strafe. This is going to annoy the hell out of me in time. You swing the camera around by holding right click. A slight oddity, however, is if my cursor reaches the right side of the screen, the camera will just keep on spinning, but if it reaches the left side, it just stops, and I don't know why. The first NPC we meet is Hiccup.
I don't quite understand his problem with the camera angles. I haven't noticed any problem with the camera angles on the PC or the Steam version. So yeah, I don't quite understand what the deal is with that. I play several other MMOs, and the camera versions seem to work fairly similar, so I don't know what the deal is with that.
The hero of the films, he's voiced, and is it the same voice actor? It is not. I'd argue it's actually a better voice actor. Hiccup in this game is voiced by James Arnold Taylor, famous voice actor known for voicing Ratchet from the Ratchet & Clank series, Obi-Wan Kenobi from multiple Star Wars games, and the character with the world's greatest laugh, Tidus from Final Fantasy X. First quest, Mount Toothless. Well, normally I'd insist on a romantic dinner and a safe word first, but you're a dragon, I'm not going to argue. Oh, the flying controls are awkward. This was clearly made for mobile, then ported to PC. They've just not bothered to optimize anything. Spacebar is go, shift is stop, W angles you up, S angles you down.
I'm pretty sure it was actually made for PC and then to mobile. I don't think it was made for mobile and then imported to PC, but because they are combining the two, it obviously is going to show a lot of the same similarities. So I don't think it was mobile and then PC, although I could be wrong about that. I think it was that they're just trying to combine the two.
On an AMD turn you left and right. And the dragon is not camera locked, meaning no matter how you swing the camera around, you still have to steer manually. Hiccup drunkenly slides off and wingsuits it down, and we get into some action-packed mid-air combat. To shoot a fireball, you click this button. The game will auto-lock on to whatever you can shoot at. There is no way to manually aim and no fireball key. You must just click this button
or press the F
whenever the aiming icon appears. Grimmel, a bad guy, I believe from the third film, has trapped some dragons. We recover an axe by walking near it, chop a rope by clicking it, and open a cage, followed by phasing through the door as it swings open. Then we rescue a dragon. We get to colour it and name it, so in honour of a better MMO, I call it Deathwing. That name apparently isn't allowed. You're probably not allowed the word death, so I name it Tiamat. Yeah. I show absolute dominion over Tiamat by giving...
And just to be clear about the Deathwing, the reason they don't allow death is because kids and players of the game already have so much inappropriate conversations, so many inappropriate stuff they say. So SOD, Skull Dragons, is trying really hard to prevent that, although, to be honest, I don't really think that preventing people from naming their dragons with death in the name is really solving much of the issue. People are still finding ways around it, but I mean, it's an attempt.
Giving it a gentle boop on the snoot, and then we're sent to talk to Mulch the fisherman, because all dragons love fish, especially the kind of fish that stay still, then just leap straight up in the air. Dragons run out of energy, fish refills this energy. Pretty simple so far. The loading screen tips do that thing where they're funny and silly, like leaping over lava. I like this. Although we've already rescued an adult dragon, we're now going to get a...
I love how he says he loves that. If anybody has ever played the game for as long as I have, they all know that that is annoying. And it's not, I mean, it's funny, it's cool, but like, it's so annoying because that's what you'll see that loading screen so much. So it obviously hasn't played the game very much.
Baby Dragon 2. You take a Facebook BuzzFeed style quiz to sort out which kind of dragon you are, and then regardless of the result, you get to choose whatever you like anyway. The correct choice, of course, is Monstrous Nightmare.
What's funny is actually the first time I took that quiz, I chose all the answers that I felt like would be closest to me, and I got Hideous Zippleback. And then when I created an alt character, I did it again, and I chose all the answers least close to me, and I also got Hideous Zippleback.
Can't have the name Deathwing, so I go with Not Lifewing.
That absolutely.
Whenever you're on a quest, you have this arrow at the bottom of the screen pointing to your next objective. This is kind of annoying because it takes away any exploration or navigational challenge, but also essential because NPCs don't have names above their heads, there's no signposts, and no local map. So without this arrow, you have literally no idea where you're going or who people are. The quest arrow also...
Okay, I really have a problem with this. The first thing is they actually did put the names in. They just put the names in a month or two ago, and above the heads of the NPCs. And also, I play some other MMOs. The one I'm currently thinking of is where you just click the quest line in your book, and your character just follows this path, this random path to wherever the quest person happens to be. So I feel like an arrow is better than that because you still have to actually try to find where the arrow is leading. But it's not as easy and quick as you click the quest words and bam, you go to your quest. So I actually feel like this is really good. I really like it, and I don't know if a minimap would help. I just don't really think it does or would. I actually really like the arrow, as long as the arrow works, which it doesn't always. But I actually think the arrow is pretty cool.
Also cannot handle cliffs and freaks out whenever you're above or below or to the side or anywhere near or just really thinking about cliffs. So tiny dragons called hobgobblers have appeared and are being annoying. We're sent to discover why. Our arrow leads us to this sheep field which shows all the sheep are dressed as hobgobblers. The game then tells me to seek anything out of the ordinary. You're a game about Vikings riding dragons with cosplaying sheep. I don't know where the ordinary line is. Boxes of hobgobbler bait are in the camp and there are...
I don't know why he's doing the Hobgobbler quest first. I mean, like, this is one of the expansion packs. He should just be doing the normal main quest. I'm not exactly sure why he's doing this. And then he was complaining about out of the ordinary. I guess that's kind of funny, but, like, the arrow points where to go, so it's, like, not that big of a deal. I don't know what his problem is.
The prank storyline leads us to Dragon Tactics, a strategy minigame. Here's the tutorial. You've got your dudes. Each turn you can move them and then perform one ability. To move, you must click, drag, and release. Clearly a hangover from the swiping of a mobile game. There are 3 elements. Each element has a strength or weakness to another, like a triangle. Fire, ice, and poison. Not really sure poison is an element. The white glowing area around each unit shows how far they can move. Your abilities are listed as being close.
To be fair, most games that have elements in it aren't actual elements. What defines an element is extremely subjective, so I don't think that's any point. I don't know why he even needs to point that out.
Range, medium range, or long range. I managed to work out this means they work from 1, 2, or 3 squares away, but the game doesn't say that anywhere. Tutorial done, let's get down to a real battle. Now, I love strategy games. Final Fantasy Tactics is complex and deep. Advanced Wars on the Game Boy Advance looks simple, but...
The fact that he would expect to have the range said is pretty silly in my opinion, because most games don't tell you the exact range of whatever you're doing. You'd have to look that up in the actual manual or something. So the fact that the tutorial doesn't tell you exactly how the range works or something like that, most games wouldn't, because you can't say everything that there's possibly to know about Dragon Tactics all in one little tutorial. That's pathetic.
But positioning is everything, and this is neither. It's not awful, but it's not good. It's a perfectly fine, my first turn-based strategy game. When you win, which you will because the AI is awful, you'll get a...
I'd like to see him try the harder levels. Oh my goodness, that's such a laugh. Yeah, harder levels are so much harder. He'd get crushed. You actually have to really be full of strategy. I'm not sure what the correct word is. Full of strategy to complete the other levels, and also you have to really have upgraded your characters. So yeah, sure, this first level is super easy, but that's because it's made for people like him who's super weak.
Treasure chest. Then you can open more chests by answering basic primary school quiz questions. What? This doesn't advertise itself as an education game, but you only gain extra rewards by taking a test. The questions are dumb. Why do animals hibernate? Well, I know the answer it wants is about long periods of time between food, but I mean, come on, we don't know they don't enjoy the me time. We finish the minigame and free the art.
Notice that he doesn't point out all the other questions that were asked. Not all the questions are dumb. In fact, I have to wonder if maybe he got a few wrong, so he didn't want to show them all. Some of the questions are really difficult. You actually have to be very knowledgeable, and I wouldn't say they're basic grade school questions either. All of the games by Jumpstart are somewhat educational. So, like, if it's a Jumpstart game, you should know that there's going to be some sort of educational aspect to it. I don't understand why he didn't know that.
Talk to Tough Nut, explain that Gobbler is terrified, and he takes this to mean we terrified him, and this means that we win the prank war. That's right, ladies and gents, we are a prank channel now. School of Dragons Hobgobbler prank, in the hood, gone wrong, gone sexual, almost died, Danes were called. We hide the...
I don't understand the reference to that, but it's quite well known that Tough Nut and Rough Nut have pranks all the time. Like, that's all over the TV series. So, like, I mean, it's just keeping with the theme that Tough Nut and Rough Nut would play pranks.
Remaining hobgobblers in a cave because of plot reasons, and it just happens that the cave we choose is a beautiful, expansive, underground, hidden world to reference the third film. It's a giant open other ecosystem, and this is not how caves work. Remember, there's an entire mountain above us. Mountains normally need pretty stable foundations, maybe small cave systems underneath, but not massive open caverns. The water is just another flat texture.
I mean, if he's got a problem with that, then he's got a problem with the hidden world in the movies.
Meaning you can clip the camera underneath it. Oh Jesus, look at that water below! It's one flat image moving at a constant speed. Now I see why the game was under 200 megs. Finish the quest and level up. There's a flash of light but no sound effect. Is there fall damage? No. The cave background is nice. The neon color...
Of course there wouldn't be fall damage. This is the game that you only get damage in Dragon Tactics. Like, it's not intended. Like, there's plenty of MMOs where you can jump from who knows how high up and you won't get damage. Like, I don't understand.
Colored luminescent plants and the gusts of flying dragons look lovely. It's just a shame about the rest of it. The next quest has me jump into the water, which is knee level because programming swimming would be hard, and explore downstream. The water...
There is a swimming animation. It's just not high enough that the character needs to swim.
Texture moves just faster than we run, so it's quite a nauseating effect after a while. This tutorial annoys me because it doesn't have any subtitles. Now, accessibility options in-game, come on. I mean, it's just my opinion, but I generally think most accessibility options in a game should be turned on by default. So Fireball Frenzy is an on-rails shooter. You don't control the dragon's movement. What you do is aim and shoot fireballs. You've got various targets worth various points. Sheep, bandits, and golden dragons, and targets of human characters you need to avoid. There are a few problems with this game. The pacing is way off. It moves from area to area quickly, then there's no movement at all, while the targets spin around really, really fast. By the time you've seen a high-value target and aimed at it, it has changed. I feel it would be greatly...
That's just because you're a lousy shot, bro. It's too fast, so you gotta be a good shot. My word, he's trying to make excuses for his horrible gameplay.
Improved if it was a slower but constant moving throughout the whole course. Or the targets appeared a little slower, or didn't disappear.
I.e., he wants it easy.
Sometimes the dragon's wings clip inside of the camera, obscuring your vision, but the absolute worst thing is the sound effect of the fireballs. It is constant. Just listen to what playing this sounds like.
That is annoying that you can't turn off the...
Imagine that for the whole course. I can't do the Fireball Frenzy quest as there's no other people to do it with, so let's go do Wilderness Survival. Gobber needs me to
The Fireball Frenzy quest, you just need to do it by yourself. You don't need to do it with another player.
chop down 6 trees. You do that by standing near a tree and pressing the big context button on the screen. Then you collect 5 stones by running into them. The sound effects when you collect the stones are obnoxious.
Really
Now some
get that
fish. You
obnoxious.
stand by the fishing place and press the context button and you begin the fishing minigame. You choose your bait, you cast your rod and then get ready for fun. This arrow moves left to right. Clicking and holding reel moves it to the right. You want to avoid the red areas, so it's just a game of click the reel when the arrow is in green. That's basically it. You have to do this 3 times. After fishing, we get to discover the ancient language.
He neglected to say that some of the fishes are harder, and you can't just by clicking and waiting, it won't work. So you need to buy the better fishing rod, and then you have to you click 2 buttons, drag, and then reel to go left and right with the arrow. So then it gets more tricky and a bit more skill involved, but he obviously hasn't played the game long enough to know that.
Finishing the survival quest sets me back to the top of the quest list, which is Fireball Frenzy, which as we've seen cannot be finished, so I have to manually change it again.
It can be finished. He just is an idiot and doesn't know that you can just do the normal single player.
To finding mulch, which has no arrows. 2 quests we can't do. Thankfully, Astrid has another quest, so I chat to her and this cinematic plays. I'm going to watch it again to see if it makes more sense the second time. Nope, I am still confused. There is, however, a giant scoreboard in this room showing the all-time and monthly top scores. Let's check this out. The world's greatest dragon trainer is called IIXXX Dark Dragon XXXII. That is exactly the...
I don't know if this is the same Dark Dragon, but I do know a player named Dark Dragon in the game, and he's really nice player. It's possible that maybe he has like 1 or less X's on the sides of it. But this doesn't display the best Dragon Riders. This is just a random list of players that have reached the 400,000 score. I personally have reached the 400,000 score like a super long time ago, and my name appears on there every now and again. It's just a random list of everybody who reaches 400,000. You can't get any more than that.
Kind of username I'd expect. That name is so edgy, it's basically a pizza cutter. All edge and no point. I try for 20 minutes. I cannot find mulch. Next quest on the list is Find Bucket. This one has an arrow, so I should be able to do it. Again, no subtitles in conversation. You're really locking the hard of hearing players out here, game. So I travel to where Bucket is meant to be, run down the path right in front of me, and more paid DLC. More premium currency paywalls. This game just loves throwing up them paywalls. Leaving the paid DLC area, I find a small dragon. I click on it and Astrid's chat head shows up, even though she is nowhere around. Then I journey into the night
He's playing this during Snuggletog. Interesting.
light maze. To open this door, you stand on this switch, but leaving the switch closes the door. Aha! A simple puzzle. You can drag this dragon onto the switch. Wait, hang on, there's a joke here. You open the switch using a drag-on. Inside the maze, there is a small dragon, which you can run right through. No collision detection at all. Round the corner, however, I find Toothless, the star of the films. Surely he is important enough to have a solid model, to have collision. Nope.
So Toothless actually does have a collision, but in the maze, of course, you wouldn't want to put collision on Toothless because then he wouldn't be able to go into that part of the maze. Like, you'd have to jump on all the wings. That'd be super annoying. So it actually makes sense that he doesn't have collision. But I mean, I can see why he may be a little upset about that.
Not even Toothless gets to physically exist in this world. This whole maze is just a series of simple puzzles. For example, this is a circular room with a white dragon flying around it. If it touches you, you're sent back to the start. Nothing explains this beyond it happening, so you just run around and drop down this hole in the floor. Now it's a dodge the small scurrying...
He says they're simple games and there's no explanation. Well, that's true, but a lot of mazes and parts of games aren't always explained. You have to figure it out, so that's bogus. And also the I don't know about this. I can't remember this exact certain maze, but a lot of the mazes have some really difficult puzzles actually. that actually require a little bit of brain power, but I don't know if this guy has that.
Dragons puzzle, but earlier the dragons had no hitboxes and were totally harmless. Now they send you back. Make up your mind about what these dragons do, game. Be consistent. This puzzle needs you to jump at not Nightlight's parents, which also needs you to have watched and remembered the third film. Then comes a platforming section. This whole room...
I mean, you don't actually need to have watched the third film. You can just look online who's the Nightlight's parents.
Completing the Nightlight Cave rewards you with a small chest, then several much larger chests, but they need premium currency to open. I swear the premium currency pushing in this game, especially toward kids, is basically predatory. That was a fun diversion, but I still need to find Bucket, and there's still...
Predatory? Okay, I mean, there's plenty of ways to get gems. Like, it's not that bad. Like, I don't know what his problem is.
No arrow. Thankfully, Gobber has a new quest, which means new arrow. I am never going to find Bucket. Gobber needs more stones, but on my way to find them...
I thought he said he was trying to find Mulch, not Bucket.
We're introduced to Harold. He's a wandering trader being chased by dragon hunters. The game tries really hard to set him up as some important character in the same way that direct-to-video films try and set up their villain as being someone interesting, but he's just not. Hiccup tells us there's a dangerous dragon called Triple Strike attacking things. You know it's a cool dragon because they spell strike with a Y. Hey Hiccup, he doesn't strike me as that dangerous.
I mean, Triple Strike's in Race to the Edge, so if you got a problem with that, complain to Race to the Edge. Don't complain to School of Dragons.
Okay, so dealing with Triple Strike, time for a dragon versus dragon aerial battle, flames and wings and teeth? Nope, we deal with this through more Dragon Tactic minigame. But we need to play more of the tutorial before we can continue. So accessing the Dragon Tactic minigame screen doesn't actually show us the name of our current quest or objective. It lets us select any of them. It's really freeform and open, and while this may increase accessibility to any part of the game at any time, it doesn't let you follow a consistent plot or show the next definitive step on your current quest. It's so open, it's lost all sense of story. I mean, at least I like strategy games. Although why the stick attack does way more damage than the axe attack, I still don't know. Win more games, and some more basic science questions, get more rewards, and even more tutorials. Also, Astrid's picture looks way better than mine, because they've used the film's rendering of her, and my character is just, well, my in-game face. The questions you have to answer at the end of this game are sometimes related to the film, but mostly just random science questions. Oh, by the way, here's some tactics for the game if you ever do play. Enemies won't move until you move close enough to aggro them, and you do have some healing abilities, so you can just slowly creep forward, taking out enemies one at a time and healing until you're ready to move on to the next one. There it is, the world's only pro-gamer strat.
He's wrong. If you wait too long, they'll come for you. So that's not true. Don't do that. If you just heal slowly and just gently work your way up, unless you're going at a fairly fast pace, they'll come and get you, and then you'll be in trouble. So that's not a good stat. Don't do that.
School of Dragons, Dragon Tactics. This is Dragon Racing. Fly around a very short course using very awkward controls. Fly through these small rings for a speed boost. Hit the large green rings or you don't continue. Playing it solo sucks, so I try some races with other people. But there's no sound effect for the race starting, so I am distracted writing notes and left lagging behind. Despite starting at the back and not knowing the course, somehow I win. This is likely because I am racing children. Wait.
What was his time?
At the back and not knowing the course, somehow I win. This is likely because I am
157. Oh my word.
Racing children. Completing the dragon race.
He got lucky. If he was playing anybody with any sense with racing, he would get demolished. He's on one of the slowest dragons and he has no racing armor. Oh my goodness, I would just cream him. I guess I'm interested what my score would be. Let's see real quick here.
Follow through some more quests and get to this quest box and the game gets stuck. I can't click yes, I can't click no, there's no back button, and escape doesn't do anything. I'm actually amazed it took this long to get to a game-breaking bug. Let's just sum up. School of Dragons doesn't have a central gameplay loop. It's a mix of loads of mini-games that aren't developed enough to be fun and systems that are so situational you'll forget they exist until the game reminds you. As for the quality of the mini-games, each one would be totally acceptable as a free child's game on a cheap gaming site, but none of them belong in a fully fledged MMO with paid DLC. The DLC and its approach to it is mean, allowing a child to play the intro quests of a plotline and then gating off the rest behind a massive paywall with no warning this is going to happen. Or hobbling your dragon in minigames because they're not grown up enough yet, or placing large treasure chests at the end of a maze then demanding premium currency to open them. I understand games are businesses, but this just makes it super obvious the point was always fleecing young kids for cash and not making a
You can earn gems without having to pay money, dude.
fun, enjoyable experience. If you're young and you tried this game, please realize this is not a good example of either an MMO or a game aimed at children. It's buggy, inconsistent, and the design philosophy of the game is so far removed from the core concepts of the film, it's insulting to the film to think that these two are even slightly connected. This joke of a game is a soulless cash grab. It barely relates to the principles of the first movie, and its sound design is so goddamn awful there's either way too many or way too few sound effects. Nothing here is challenging, it's filled with far too many systems, and there doesn't seem to be any real reason to do anything. It's only survived because it's riding on the coattails of something much better. It's a complete rip-off, which is why the final rating for School of Dragons is How to Train a Dragon Warrior, a rip-off film, out of 10. Cheers for watching. If you want more work...
Okay, so I guess my final thoughts about this is obviously he hasn't played the game long enough to really understand why it's fun. He hasn't really... Yeah, so I mean there's plenty of people that have played the game that have enjoyed it. It's not just riding off the coattails of How to Train Your Dragon. A lot of the stuff he said, well, may be true. There's a lot of things he said that I obviously disproved. So, I feel like it's a good point to make. The School of Dragons does have many issues with it, and it's certainly not one of the better MMOs. However, he was saying lots of other comments about like it's a cash grab, it's soulless, etc., etc. And I would say that's not true. That's not true at all. It's definitely worth playing. I've played it for three years or so, and I've really enjoyed it. And I'm not a kid. So I think, and I would think this game would be a perfect game for my kid to play because there's not like any blood, gore, swearing, any that sort of stuff. So I would feel safe with my kid doing it. So I feel like he has some points, but I really feel like he just doesn't know enough about the game to really give a good view of it. And I would say he's more wrong than he is ever right. So anyway, that's all for today. I'm Kaiser Sneak. Please subscribe and definitely like and then click notifications. I will be doing a face reveal by the end of the year if I get 100 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. It'd be fun to do a face reveal, and it'd be fun to maybe do some IRL content. So anyway, if that's what you're into, and if you'd like to do that, it'd be awesome to support my channel. And that's all for today. Thank you so much.